C3 Risk and Insurance Services is proud to sponsor this show. Guys, if something bad happens to you, a great way to deal with that problem is to have money that comes from insurance.
That's right.
Joe Earl, our good friend at C3 Risk Insurance Services, will cover all your insurance needs. Make sure that you don't have any problems when trouble arises. Go to facebook.com/C3Insured and get a quote. If you get a policy from them, you will get a $25 Amazon gift card with which you can buy anything.
Anything you want. I mean, even things that could get you into more trouble where you would need insurance.
Good call.
Good call.
C3 Risk and Insurance Services.
Stand Up Talk. Now, another offering from the Stand Up Talk Radio Network.
Crime is a show where I, Rich Slaton, read a true story about lawbreakers.
And I, John Shefsky, promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help you, me. I am your God.
That's turned into a weird S&M style episode, huh?
Yeah,
You're my
S-U-R-M. You know what I'm saying, dog?
I knew you would do something to my something.
That's what I like doing. I like doing things to your things.
That should be illegal.
What you should do is play the damn music. Crime is the show that starts now.
Like right now?
Oh, yeah. Do your line.
Oh, okay. Each week, Rich reads a real crime story. I don't know a word that rhymes with story.
And my homie John always has the hot riff. He really loves it when you send...
Don't send anything
them
to me.
him.
Don't you dare.
Crimepodcast@gmail.com.
Don't you send anything.
Label it John Shefsky. He loves them. Make sure the lighting's really good. Good to see you again, everybody.
Shalom.
Shout out to Chicago. Well done for listening to our show. Tacoma, Washington. Where'd you come from? Tacoma, I guess. That's where I think you came from.
No, you meant like weird that all these listeners in Tacoma decide like, I'm going to stop chopping wood and I'm going to fucking listen to a podcast about crime.
I think you do more than chop wood. I think you also probably like look at trees and don't just chop them down. But Shefsky's reductive. So, you know what, Tacoma? I love you, but my partner here, I don't know about him.
I don't think anything I said was disrespectful to the wood choppers.
You're just general.
You're just adding connotation to what I was saying.
Fuck you! We've been friends for so long.
Welcome to the show, guys. Thank you so much.
Good to see you today.
It's our biggest day ever.
Oh,
sorry.
It's a great day. Today we have a fantastic guest. He's a comedian. He's the creator of the Unpopular Opinion podcast and that great network. Also the creator of many popular listicles. If you've ever read a listicle before, this guy probably wrote
listicle hanging from your testicle?
Yeah, that's where I get it from. Welcome. Put your virtual hands together for Adam Tod Brown.
Woo! Hey,
yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah,
I appreciate
dude.
it.
You should repair that wall you just burst through.
Yeah. That's
Is that a Kool-Aid reference you just tried to do?
yeah.
Well, it was more like a wrestling reference, but then I realized
I thought it was
on the
Kool-Aid.
back end. It felt like Kool-Aid. On the front end, I was like, that was like a pro wrestling entrance.
I thought it was like a Aerosmith Run DMC Walk This Way reference.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Because this looks like the room where that video was filmed.
Coming to
a little
you
bit.
from the podcast dungeon at the Comedy Store. Murders may or may not have happened here. Will we ever do an episode about the crimes that have happened at the Comedy Store?
Are you like trying to like bait us right now? Like, yeah, we probably will.
Probably.
Especially when you run out of stories. Like you go through the library, like this has all been done.
I've done all 3,000 library books
Is it
about
possible?
crime.
Is it? Can we run out of episodes for crime?
People keep committing crimes, dude.
Yeah. There's always new crimes. You'll
That's
be
one of the
fine.
great parts
We'll be
about
all
it.
right.
Yeah.
Hey,
This
people.
show's got
And there's
longevity.
always...
Hey, listeners, if you know a criminal, tell them to rob, steal. I mean, not murder, preferably, but if they have to.
You fucking asshole.
If they have to.
No, straighten them out. There's going to be plenty of people fucking up anyways. If you know a criminal or a potential criminal, make sure they don't turn into a criminal. Help them out. Help them find the right path. You fucking dick.
Charles Frederick Peace was
Peace
born
out.
on May 14th, 1832 in Sheffield, England.
Oh my God, I have a ton of family from Sheffield. That's where most of my English family's from.
Yeah?
Yeah, Sheffield. Oh my
I
God,
thought
I'm so
I knew something
excited.
was sketchy about you.
I hope my cousins are listening. Adam, check this shit out. They're talking about Sheffield.
I'm going to do my Sheffield accent the whole show. Is that accurate?
Oh, that's bloody well accurate. Yes,
Is that where Shefsky comes from?
Huh?
Shefsky comes from Sheffield.
It's
Sheffield.
originally Sheffield ski.
Mm-hmm.
No, that part of my family where that last name come from is not my English family. That's from like the European Jews that got kicked out of every country they were ever in. Go on with your story.
His father, John, was a tough man. He worked as a coal miner until he lost his left leg in a mine collapse. After which he became a wild animal trainer for Wombel's traveling menagerie.
Wait, after he lost his leg?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, well,
way to tempt fate. You already lost one. Now you're going to go train animals?
But then you're like, hey, there's a good side of this. No alligator or lion can bite off my left leg. It's already gone.
Isn't that great?
I always think about that with amputees. I'm like, oh, well, you never have to worry about that ankle hurting.
Yeah.
You know?
Or the phantom pains.
And I think there's a code among animals that you can't bite off the last leg.
They hold each other back.
Yeah.
They're like, bro,
Yeah.
it's unspoken.
It's his only leg, dude.
Yeah, the hyena's talking.
Yeah.
Bro, he's only got one leg, bro. You know the rules.
He's had enough.
You're kicked out of hyena world.
But John was unhappy with life on the road away from his family.
I miss the crumpets of hometown.
He eventually returned home, where one-legged John became a shoemaker.
Really?
This guy swings for the fences when it comes to occupations that one-legged people shouldn't have.
He's living vicariously through the other people's feet.
Is this going to end with him murdering someone in his ballet company?
Excuse me, sir. I'd like to register a complaint.
Yes, go ahead. I've got my pen and ink quill ready.
I attempted to purchase these shoes.
Yes?
And I got home, opened the box, and found that it was just shoe.
Ah, yes. Well, that's because the maker of the shoe has only one leg, and he feels that everyone else should as well. He's a socialist. He wants it all to be very equal.
Yes, slight problem. I have two.
You have 2 feet? Mm-hmm. Oh, I have a simple solution for you.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I'd like you to go see my friend Frank the Butcher.
Is he going to make me a second shoe?
You fucking moron. He's going to use a cleaver, and he's going to solve your problem. Go on with your story, you little bitch.
Charles, the youngest of the 4 Peace children, was a showman like his father. He entertained friends and family with self-written skits, sleight of hand, and musical talents.
I hate this kid already.
What does sleight of hand musical talents mean?
Sleight of hand and musical talents.
What does sleight of hand mean?
Like magic.
Magic.
Like, oh, I found a quarter behind your ear. Oh, is this your card?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the thing we were supposed to do when we went to the Magic Castle, and it was the wrong day because I'm stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
That's
thing.
not part of the story, though. You're distracting. Oh, reggae style?
Despite his small size, about 5'3" tall, he was also quite the athlete, skilled at acrobatics and quickly climbing trees and buildings.
Is this the story of Cirque du Soleil?
Yes. He was also known for performing a trick of throwing a heavy lead ball in the air and catching it in a
With
leather
his-
pouch on his forehead.
Yes. I don't care what crime this guy committed. That's great.
Right?
That all is forgiven.
That's the original volleyball soccer head thing, but it's with a lead ball.
With a giant. Well, you have to wonder. We're on page 1 of today's crime.
Yeah.
and you have to wonder did catching a lead ball with your head repeatedly have any effect on your ability to make choices?
Oh,
That's like a documented thing. Head trauma leading, eventually people who experience head trauma go on to be serial killers.
Oh, yeah. Brain
Or
tumors,
Sam
all this kind of
Kinnison's.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's the other
exactly.
possibility.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so guys, just
We don't know that Sam Kinison never killed anybody. I'm
That's
from Peoria too. I've seen
Really
that
good
place.
point.
That's a very good
really
point.
good point.
Yeah.
But he's dead now, so we're safe.
At 14 years old, Charlie finished school and entered the workforce at a local steel plant.
Steel. Sheffield Steel. That was our hockey team, too. Sheffield Steelers.
There must
I'm
have
not
been
kidding.
some
Really.
sort of industrial curse on the Peace family because soon after, a piece of molten steel fell and burned its way through his leg.
More
Which
like a
leg?
piece of molten steel. Oh,
Wait.
same thing. Never mind.
Which leg? The opposite of his father's, so they could just buy one pair of shoes and then split them up? I'm just saying, we're practical. We're practical Englishmen. How many quid can you save a year by just buying one pair of shoes and splitting it between 2 people?
After 18 months in the infirmary, Charlie finally walked out with both his legs, but also with a painful limp that would never go away.
Well, I'm happy for him that he didn't lose his legs, but I'm bummed about my solution not being something now.
His job prospects were dark, as none of the factories would hire a cripple. For a while, he played violin at local taverns, but the meager coins did little to help his family's finances.
And that's why he turned to crime. Right? Am I right?
We're getting close.
Okay.
Good.
You're
Good.
all okay.
Things got even worse later that year when his father got sick and died. Charlie was devastated. Not only had his family lost their income, but he lost his role model and best friend.
So he was close to his dad. This isn't like an old-fashioned, hundreds of years old, my dad was a piece of shit story. This is like
No, this is like my dad's an animal tamer, and
He was still his role model, even though he went through an accident and didn't lose his leg. I'd be like, "Fuck, Dad!
Yeah.
Why couldn't you keep your leg? Like, it happened to me too, and I'm fine. Still got my legs."
He thinks,
Bitch.
His dad's like, I did all this for you to live a better life, and all you do is riff on the fact that I lost my bloody leg.
Charlie's personality turned dark very quickly, and every night he
So his
stayed out
comedy
late,
got good.
often returning with cuts and bruises from bar fights. By his late teens, he began to put his toe in the waters of crime.
Oh, I didn't know we were supposed to say crime.
I
at the same time.
set you up so hard with a
Is
finger.
that why you pointed?
Yeah,
Well,
I was
thought
like,
you were- I didn't know. I thought you were going to tell me something exciting, but he did put his toe in the finger of
crime. Our fingers touched.
Okay, that's all right.
Charles started small, swiping goods when the opportunity arose. It didn't take long for him to upgrade to a street roller, wandering the town looking for people to pickpocket or straight up rob.
Oh, so if you're a street roller, you use that sleight of hand technique to be like, sir, oh, you dropped this, sir. When the guy, you go, oh, thank you. You're a very generous young boy. You go, and then he walks away.
There you go.
Where's my...
Then you fondle his balls and run off.
I don't know if he was a ball
That's the kind of robbery I usually go for.
Yeah.
Just a ball fondling?
Yep.
I stole 10 seconds of time from his nuts.
The ball fondle bandits struck again.
Who are you going to... Okay.
You know, I'm missing my wallet, but I also kind of feel good. Is that weird? Is that weird?
Good ball fondling actually is really good.
Right?
You know?
But it quickly became clear he was not well suited to this type of crime, as his small size and obvious limp made him easy to identify to police.
Yeah.
That'll do it every time.
Yeah, anything that's not, not normalized is going to be, they're going to be like, it's that guy with the shoe on his face. Yeah.
Maybe you should have lost that leg. No limp that way.
But then they would have been like, it's this one-legged little bitch. He comes by, he stole my stopwatch.
So on October 26th, 1851, 19-year-old Charles took a different route. Despite his bum leg, he still possessed considerable strength and balance, which he used to scale the side of a local home and enter through an upstairs window, where he proceeded to burgle the establishment.
I rarely hear it used that way.
Yeah. Burgle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, and he's just about to go burgle. He went burgle on it. Hashtag burgle.
Hashtag burgle, bruh.
That is a word, though? You didn't make that up?
Yeah, burgle.
Okay.
Yeah, like
No,
that's
I
the
like-
action that
I
a
believe
burglar
you.
does.
I believe it's not like you
Like
regularly
sock
lie to
is
me.
the action that a soccer does, you know?
I lost a spelling bee in 8th grade, misspelling burglar, and I've hated that word ever since.
Serious?
Did you add
if I
an
was
extra-
ever chief of police, that would be my first order to go after burglars because I'm so bitter that I fucked up that word.
Hey, well, Adam Tod Brown, you're in luck because today you get a chance to redeem yourself. The word, young man, is burglar.
Let's hear.
Burglar. When I spelled it in school, I said Burgu. I spelled it burgular.
I like that. He's a boogler.
Burgular.
Kid, you got something hanging from your nose. It looks like a boogerler.
A boogerler?
A boogerler?
The property owner returned that night to find her belongings pilfered.
A female property owner. Very interesting. Liberal England in the
progressive.
1800s.
And
Isn't that Jack the Ripper territory?
Don't know if
My
I
goodness.
agree, but progressive.
Very progressive. Very. I like this story. I feel good.
she immediately contacted the police, who gave a list of the missing items to every local pawn shop and police officer. When Charles tried to sell the goods, the cops were informed. They searched his home and found everything.
So you just got caught straight up exactly like fucking perfect.
The first time he
this is a
burgled.
perfect case being closed right now. Here
Easy.
you go.
Open and shut, guys. It's been fun. I hope you enjoyed the coffee.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Do you want me to leave the rest or?
Sure.
Yeah.
You think I'm falling for
Let's
that? Slaton?
share it.
You think I'm fucking falling for that?
I think you're falling
I
for
know
something
the story.
today. You will fall for at least one thing today.
Go on with your fucking
Because of his age, disability, and lack of criminal record, the judge went easy on Charles, giving him only 1 month in prison. He used the time to
fair.
go over what happened, making mental notes for his next job.
I like that. Non-draconian laws, like let's treat this guy all right. He's got a potential to be a decent contributing member to society, right?
Over the next few years, Charles worked smarter. He carefully watched every home, memorizing the schedules of the occupants. Rather than going for big scores, he targeted small loads of valuables so he could get away in spite of his limp.
What does that mean? He's trying to do like under the radar kind of things? Like they'll never notice if this is gone.
Take a couple of things, make sure I
Yeah.
can pocket it, make sure it's
Yeah.
not so heavy that I'm like...
whole silverware set, but I take a couple forks
and a spoon.
Oh yes, a golden spoon. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Take a spoon at a time then.
That's right. And then if you take enough spoons from enough different locations,
You can eventually have friends over for supper.
that's right.
He benefited even more by using the home of his older sister, Mary Ann, to store his pilfered goods.
There's a name for that in the criminal world, but I don't know what it's called.
Mary Ann and her husband, Mr. Neal, were happy to help.
That's what they called him.
That's all I got. I didn't get his
Neal.
full name.
It's like
Mr. Neal is
That's
all.
great.
It's his brother-in-law, whatever.
Some
He's
of
like,
these
"Mr.
documents
Neal."
from 200 years ago are
Yeah.
like a little bit iffy.
Yeah, no, it's quite all right.
150 years ago.
Carry on.
Whatever.
Quite all right.
They were happy to help for a cut of the profits.
Oh, so they were in on it. They weren't like, he wasn't duping. Is she older then? Like more mature and like?
Yes.
But she's still just like, fuck it, it's tough out here.
Yes.
Make an extra couple quid a month.
It is tough out here for a pimp.
That's right.
But Mr. Neal had a tendency to hit his wife. And Charles was rightfully unwilling to stand for it. Once he came home to find his sister with a black eye, Charles...
With a black guy in England?
Whoa, in England?
No, there's a ton of black guys there.
Yeah. Charles confronted Neal.
You ever hear about Seal? Is he English? Seal's English, right?
I think he is.
Fuck, I could be totally wrong. Okay.
Charles
Scary Spice? Go on.
There's so many
Charles
black people in
confront-
England. Every black listener in England's like, these bloody fucking Americans. They think the world's one way. It's not.
Charles confronted Neil.
It's a different way.
Charles confronted Neil.
Grindcore is music too.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Grimy rap. Grimy rap.
Who ordered his bulldog to attack.
Yes.
As it lunged, Charles knocked it out with one punch.
Fuck yeah.
Then delivered.
That's always I love dogs, but that is always the best fucking stories when like a wild animal that could rip your neck out is coming at you and you find out a human being swung and knocked the fucking thing. That's badass. Didn't a fucking famous football player like knock a pit bull out like when he's going for his mom or something like that? It's fucking badass.
Then delivered a hellacious
just me?
beating.
Fuck you guys.
Then he delivered a hellacious beating to the man who made him hit a dog.
Oh. Wait, so Charles is like, yeah, that's fucking badass. He's like,
That's great. That's
Yeah.
John Wick shit right there.
I haven't
Right?
seen that movie,
Yeah.
but that is just
This-
it's John
yeah,
Shefsky shit. I'll tell you that. I just don't want to add anything, but
Kind of a spoiler, this is the whole basis for John Wick, this story.
you stupid asshole.
The arrangement came to an end soon after in 1854 when the stash of stolen goods was discovered by the police.
The band, the police? Of course, yes, they're an English band.
Yeah, sure.
Sting and all of his friends.
Everything you take,
Yeah.
every job you break.
It's where the term sting comes from.
Yeah.
Like a sting operation.
It's a sting operation, really. You know.
They all, the cops always come in with bleached blonde hair.
What do they do?
They come in with bleached blonde hair.
Did Sting have bleach blonde hair?
That sure looks like
that was his
it.
natural color, dude. You saw Dune, right? That's
Whoa,
his natural color.
controversy.
That's right. Sting was born with bleached hair.
Charlie and his sister went to jail. Mr. Neil did not.
The guy that stuck the what?
Charles, now a repeat offender, earned 4 years hard labor at Doncaster Prison. By the
Ouch.
time he was released, the 22-year-old looked like a man in his 40s.
Just because he was just beaten and weathered?
Just like, yeah, just grimy. Like he just got gnarled and life kicked him in the face a lot.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah. So Mr. Neil basically like flipped on him and turned them all in.
Okay.
And sent his wife to prison.
Oh, he sent his wife to prison.
Oh, she went to jail for 6
This is marriage,
months.
Yeah.
folks. This is
Yeah.
marriage.
Yeah.
Even in the old days. You're like, how can I get some peace and quiet?
Reminds me of that episode of King of Queens when
Sure. Go on.
Yeah, when Kevin James' character when he turned in his like New Jersey wife for being annoying.
Is that real? I've
No.
never. Oh.
No.
I haven't watched these shows. Okay.
I told you I'd get you once.
King of Queens? Sorry, I was
Twice,
busy having
3 times
orgasms.
a
and
week.
I was
eating.
like, can you turn your wife in for being annoying? You haven't been able to do that since like the 50s.
I know. Can they add like a new room to Homeland
but
Security? Like she's annoying. And
But
they're
King
like,
of
that is
Queens was like
fucking up
kind of
the
a
country.
throwback style
Yeah.
sitcom. It was like, you
I
know,
suppose.
what if?
Yeah.
It was kind of like that show Confederate that they were trying to do on HBO.
Yeah.
It was like, what if we could still throw our wives in prison for no reason? You guys know that was the whole premise of that show?
No, what's it called?
No, it's not at all.
Fucking
Two back to back.
Oh, are we start using the black
motherfucker.
wall as a chalkboard?
Yeah. Point
shit.
Slaton.
You piece of shit.
Freed from prison, Charles met the love of his life. Hannah was a widow and a mother of an infant son.
Oh yeah, already
Gross.
super hot. Oh, okay. Well, we're not fucking crossing swords here. She's a widow and she's got an infant.
He loved her dearly and planned to marry. So it was finally time for some changes. He decided to pool what little money he had and pursue higher education.
Is that a wordplay? He gets stoned.
No, actually, that didn't happen at all. He did meet a woman he liked, but he did make some changes to how he robbed people.
Nice.
Now he worked with a partner, a fellow inmate whose name has been lost to history. Instead of working in his hometown where he was well known, the boys went to Manchester.
That's a wordplay? The boys went to man.
That wasn't, but now it is.
Wow.
Boys to Manchester, if you will.
Boys to Manchester.
And
finally,
that's
ABC,
how Oasis
DVD.
started.
Is that the band that did that song?
Motown Phillies
See? I
back
understand
again.
music.
Finally, he made one more big change. In an effort to scare away anyone who tried to catch him, he decided to carry a revolver.
So
That'll do
so
it.
now all of a sudden he's armed,
Now he has a gun. Yep.
that's like the first gun in England.
Yeah, it's the original. He built it.
There was just one gun and a bunch of police with bobby sticks.
Yep. He's
got
He's like the Punisher, but for England.
Yeah, he's got a gun and a limp. That's half a movie right there.
If you got a biscuit, we got a record deal.
Limp revolver.
Velvet limp revolver biscuit.
After carefully selecting a home, Charles and his accomplice expertly burgled the fancy place.
There it is again.
There's that beautiful burgle alert. Ding, 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 ding,
Well, because again, I want to be clear.
No, it's fine.
We
It's
know
fine.
that
Go on with the
burglary is
story.
different
No,
than robbery.
seriously.
Those are different things.
It's totally fine. No, you're allowed to say that word without us referencing it and making a big deal.
But with no, they burgled it for a large haul of
There it is
expensive
again.
goods.
You just did that on purpose. Ding, 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 ding.
But with no hideout, they stored their take in the woods, which someone accidentally found and reported to the police.
Bloody hell. Where'd you put it? Oh, I just put it next to this big tree and the sign that says fucking Sherwood Forest, where everyone takes their bloody pictures.
There's a sign next to it. This was not burgled.
Ding, 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 ding. Burgled, used once again by Richard Slaton.
You had these my full name, Richard.
People are going to start finding you now on the internet, seeing all your chatterbaits.
Rather than gather the gear, the cops left everything right where it was, laying a trap for the burglars.
Oh, yeah, that's
Smart.
why'd you go back to that word?
'Cause it's on the paper.
It's so passe.
The very next day, Charles and his partner returned to grab their loot, only to find themselves surrounded by police. Charles was sentenced to 6 years behind bars.
Oh, dude.
Jeez.
Now it's getting harsh, huh?
The bid became
6
even
years.
tougher when he found out Hannah was pregnant.
We've got a little one on the way, too, and you're going to be gone.
When he got out in 1864, he immediately married her. For a couple of years, his life was pretty quiet, save for the time he forgot to put the safety on his revolver and accidentally blew off 2 of his fingers.
Sure.
That's very normal. You're going to have the law of average. If you're a firearms guy and you play around with them, you're going to get shot, just hopefully not in an organ.
And now Dad's back in his life like, I got all 10 fingers, bitch.
But Charles persevered, teaching himself to play his favorite violin with only 1 string.
Because of the finger situation?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's got that little Charlie Daniels.
The Charlie 1 string.
Wait,
Now, see, I feel like he could have at least thrown 2 or 3 strings on there.
Is that the fucking...
He was just like, I lost these 2 fingers, so I can only do the 1 string.
Is that the fiddle song with the devil, Charlie? Isn't Charlie the guy in the fiddle song?
Probably.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, that's the band that performed the song is Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels Band.
Yeah.
Is that a criminal? Charlie Daniel? Are we doing
Probably.
that story?
Yes.
What's this guy's last name? Charlie...
Daniels.
Is it really?
No.
What's fuck you? What's his name? Peace.
Peace.
Charlie Peace. Charlie Peace.
You know, I just want to commend Adam Tod Brown, first of all, for having a name that it's a 3-parter, which always is more fun to say collectively than individually.
Yeah.
But also for being one of the few guests who remembers details, because we are on page 4-ish, and he remembered the last name that hasn't been mentioned since the first
Oh,
page.
I'm sorry. We got ourselves one of those fucking special people with special skills. Are you autistic? Because you're great. You really remember a lot of stuff.
No, I'm not. Not that I know of.
What if I'm autistic and my skill is that I don't have any skills? I think that might be what's going on here.
Everything was going fine, sort of, until he got drunk one night in 1866 and broke into another home.
With his one finger?
I mean, I don't know how many fingers he had, but I know he blew off at least 2 or 3 of them on his hand.
Yeah, I just imagine that going up to like turn the knob on a door. But it's just
It's Jimmy in the lock with his mangled fingers.
Yeah, he slides it in like a credit card.
Dad, can you just use your other hand? No, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it.
Are you doing the English guy? He'd be like, no, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get the bloody fucking door open.
But Dad, we just want to go through. I need to pee for like the last half hour.
Poof, hold it in. I'm fucking opening the door. Oh, I got Australian. Sorry. Sorry about that, mate. Got to open the door over here. There's probably a story just like this in Australia, actually, so that we can swap the voices.
Charles made so much noise breaking into the home that by the time he
With his
exited,
violin, of course.
officers were ready and waiting. He received 8 more years of hard labor.
This guy has spent more time behind bars now than he
Jesus.
has out of the bar.
Well, it's kind of gone.
How
It's
old
gone
is
like
kid? His kid's
2,
like 50?
4, 6, 8.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who do we
You should-
appreciate?
You should stop stealing shit, mate.
Yeah. Think of another trade.
He received 8 more years of hard labor. While imprisoned, tragedy struck as both his sister and his son passed away from illness.
Jesus. That's how the old
Jeez.
days were, too. It was like, you
Yeah.
get a cough, you fucking die.
I was only gone for 8 years.
Yeah, I think how buff you are. 8 years of hard labor, right? Just
Yeah.
shoveling, just fucking great deltoids, great rack of rack of ribs.
Think of how buff
Fucking
the
abs.
fingers that on his hand he still had
The 2
got,
fingers? Oh, yeah.
compensating for the fingers that were missing.
Do you
Yeah.
think he was like popular? Like the ladies were like, dude, just fucking look at that guy's hand. It's
Yeah.
like, he's just always ready. to
Fewer
rock.
fingers are what I usually go for.
Fewer
Yeah.
fingers? Is that your
Yeah.
email address?
Fewer fingers 87 at hotmail.com.
87?
Hotmail, MALE, motherfucker.
Whoa.
I've never heard that wordplay before. Very clever.
No, especially not on an episode about Ian Edwards.
Sounds like somebody burgled the fucking old reference fucking file. All right, go on.
He vowed that once he got out, he would never sit behind bars again. When he finally was released, 40-year-old Charles was gnarled and scarred.
Gnarls Charles.
Gnarled Charles, yeah. Charles Gnarly.
Gnarls Barkley.
Easily
Barkley.
passing for an elderly man.
How old is he? He's 40 years
40.
old and he looks like an elderly man.
He looks elderly. And we'll post some pictures on the Instagram. It's hilarious how old this dude looked.
Oh, is it funny, Rich, that his
It's
fucking life
hilarious.
has been shit? You
Yeah.
fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
It's really fun. That's what the
Yeah.
whole point of the show actually is that it's hilarious.
Because I'm 42, and I mean, I look great.
You do.
Yeah,
look,
compared.
well, you didn't do all this hard time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You've been
Get
doing
away
all
with my
You've been doing all
crimes.
this hard podcasts. You look great. Podcast does not weather you. It makes you live longer,
Well,
actually.
you're out of the sun so much. There's not a lot of outdoor
Yeah.
podcast studios.
That's true.
So, not much sun damage
We
here.
need to change that. This is California.
Charles rejoined
Podcast
his
Under the
family
Stars.
and made a real effort at living an honest life. He opened a picture framing business and supplemented his income by playing his one-stringed fiddle at local inns and taverns.
Are you joking right
No,
now?
this
Are you
is-
going
this
to
is real.
fucking fuck
No.
me on this?
No,
or
this
is
one's
it-
real.
Oh,
Make
really?
me laugh.
So he did actually.
Yeah, he opened a picture framing business and played the
this
one-stringed
guy,
fiddle.
This guy is trying. It's like the movie Blow. It's like these people want to be part of regular society. They're trying.
They finally had some money. They were able to afford better instruments and nicer clothes. Charles even rekindled his love of animals, bringing home rare and exotic birds. Life
How do
was
you
good.
just bring home exotic birds?
I just imagine
Is
the guy
he-
petting a bird with his two fingers.
Is he buying
Apparently
them or
his
just
house
like
turned into,
snatching them
like-
out of the sky with his three fingers?
the three-fingered
They
snatch?
see the three fingers and think he's a bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's one of us. Let's live with him. But he might not let us fly around if we like. Whatever. He's got 3 fingers. That's enough for me.
That's the dumb bird. His other friend's like, I don't know if that's enough to fucking make it, so I want to live in a cage. I'm a flyer. And his friend's just like,
Nah, it's 3 fingers, bro. I'm gonna go live.
That bird voted for Brexit.
The bloody Brexit birds, eh?
actually, in England, that would just mean a bunch of chicks that voted for Brexit. You see, bird is a term for bitches.
They had
And
money,
hoes, which is an
instruments,
American term for
clothes, and animals. Life was good. Maybe a little too good. Charles regularly left town on business trips, something totally normal for a picture framer.
Always bad news when that part comes in a criminal story. And then he got a job that required him to travel. It's like, oh, he's going to start murdering.
Is that what happens?
Oh, yeah.
His violin case sometimes carried a violin, but was often filled with tools for breaking into homes.
Oh, he can't stop, huh? He's like, he has a craving
He's
for
like
what
the
he's good
English
at.
thief desperado.
Can't we build like a town? You know they built that town for the Alzheimer's people?
Or El Mariachi.
Do you guys know that?
If you
know
wanna
that-
go real deep.
You know there's that town for the Alzheimer's
Yeah.
people? And they can feel like they can have their illness, but still feel like they're like in a
There's
society.
a town of Alzheimer's
There
people?
is. There's a town. I don't know. It actually might be in the UK or it's in the US. It's somewhere in the world.
They're not
And-
familiar with it either.
Yeah, no one knows. It doesn't exist. I read an article on April 1st. But no, they built this town that like it keeps them like in there and safe, but it keeps them comfortable and they still get to feel like they're like they can't get lost and die, which is a big fear for Alzheimer's people. But they can still go and sit at a bus bench. They can still go to the pharmacy or go get something at the grocery store. But it's all an enclosed safety town for them. Can't they build some of these for people that are addicted to being burglars or thieves and let them kind of go?
They just
in
all steal
there?
from each other?
Sure, and let him still do what they're good because this is what he's craving his talent.
Sure.
He's like, I'm making these bloody picture frames, but it's not who I am. You see, what I do, what gets me off, is scaling up a wall, reaching out, tapping out some glass with my 3 fingers, maybe turning a door.
Excuse me, sir. Would you mind taking about a footstep back because your erection is touching my leg?
Maybe that's the case. He's like, the only thing that really gets me hard is a jacking from people, not jacking off. Jack moves, and you see. So if we build a town,
sir, we just
but
met.
he can't. I'm
and
just
this
saying.
is
I'm just
quite
proposing.
irregular.
Jack moves.
I'm just proposing this. He can't get out of that, right? He's addicted to that.
Yeah.
Can we just make a town for him so he could be who he is, but not fuck with the rest of us who don't play by those rules? Can't we be that kind of society?
I think we can. I'm voting Shefsky in 2020.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be a politician. I'm just saying, can
too
I?
late.
Yeah,
Too late.
we've nominated you.
Yeah,
That
you're
would
in.
be so stressful if you had to be forced into politics. Like it's like a new form of slavery. Like I don't want to do this.
The Crime and Mischief Party
yeah.
officially nominates John Shefsky as our
That'd be
for the
fucking
American
so much
presidency.
stress. What, you have to wake up at 8 every morning. Fuck that fucking job.
8.
Right? Right? Unless you're going to be on set for something and someone's going to already have bagels for you. Fuck waking up at 8, right?
Eventually,
Am I right?
Charles saved enough to purchase a home in a small town near his mother.
But hats off to people that do wake up at 8. Very cool.
He
Heartbeat of
quickly made
America.
friends with his neighbors, Arthur and Kate Dyson.
Oh, the inventors of the vacuum.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Very cool. This is a lot of history.
Arthur was a serious, hardworking man who carried himself like a proper gentleman, while Kate was a smart outgoing and beautiful Irishwoman with a fondness for whiskey.
But there's something below the surface.
When the Peace family moved in next door, the Dysons were delighted to have neighbors with a love of art and good conversation.
Oh.
It didn't take long for Charles to start showing up unannounced at the Dyson home.
Oh, dude. Yeah, he's addicted.
That's worse than murder,
Right?
Showing up
Showing
at someone's
people's
house
Just being like a
unannounced.
shitty sitcom character who
Yeah.
just keeps coming through your door. Hi, everybody!
Don't tell me you
Yeah.
wouldn't love Kramer visiting you all the time.
Well, only if he did his Laugh Factory act.
That's
Every time he came over.
What are you watching? The Wire?
That would wear off fast. You'd be like, why do we put a fork in the way you fucking approach me and my guests, Kramer?
Like, Kramer, this was not a good time. That's that's my mother. That's her new husband, Jamal. And you probably shouldn't have entered with that much bravado.
Was that supposed to be a stereotypical black guy's name?
I was just trying to find a good one.
Could have used one of our friends' names, like Jamar.
Ooh,
That
Jamar's
was
a
fun.
good one.
Yeah, Jamal. I don't have a Jamal that I want to give props to.
That's fair.
But there probably is a guy named Jamal. If you're a listener named Jamal, hit us up on Instagram. We'll give you some props.
Yeah, my mom isn't
Twitter.
single because my dad's still alive, but just like throw your hat in the ring for the future, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a black stepdad. Move on with your fucking story.
It's a good point. Where were we? Oh, yeah, starts showing up unannounced. At first, the visits were welcome. But Arthur began to get annoyed with the attention his new friend paid his young wife, forbidding her to see him.
Oh, like he's starting to fucking flirt with her all the time. He's like, dude, all right, this is my fucking girlfriend.
She
my
responded
wife.
by making Charles her new drinking buddy.
She responded? Like, she's
Yeah.
like, you can't tell me who to hang out with.
Oh,
Dude,
wow.
When chicks do that, when you're like, I'm telling you, that guy wants to bone you and he wants us to break up. And they're like, no, he doesn't. You're just jealous. And you're like, I'm fucking telling you, I'm a man. I can see what's going on here.
Yeah.
But she was like, you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to fucking hang out with this guy even more.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this story is about to get good.
Charlie and Kate spent many evenings getting wasted at the tavern while he played the one-stringer.
Is that a massaging of the, is that a female hysteria reference?
No, it's just the one-stringed violin.
Okay.
Which now is going to be a female body part reference.
Yeah,
forever.
for sure.
It's going to be locker room talk. Oh, dude, I played the one stringer last night. Oh, man, she was loving it. Charlie
Dude, I made that violin sing, if you know what I mean.
You know what I'm saying, dude? The whole choir, the orchestra. You know what I'm saying? The string. I played the one stringer.
Eventually, jealous Arthur investigated his neighbor, discovering Charlie's criminal past. He presented his findings to his wife, who realized she was risking her marriage and could lose custody of her children. The next time Charles came to the house, she informed him that their friendship was over.
Oh, okay. So they took the correct route of like, we can't hang out anymore. I'm sorry.
But Charles continued dropping by every day
Jesus
to
Christ.
hammer on the door and leave angry notes.
Doesn't he have shit to do? Isn't he fucking with his frame store and like burglaring?
Yeah, but it's his neighbor. It's not that hard to drop by.
Yeah.
It is hard to drop by your neighbors.
Well, how far is your neighbor from? This is England, so the houses are they touch.
They're you could just
Yeah.
actually knock on your wall. Like,
Hello,
hello, good morning.
please.
Go away, we can't speak, remember? My husband and I have made a decision and we're sticking to it.
No, I wasn't even speaking to you. Actually, I was speaking to my wife. Just these walls are quite thin.
Oh, so you're not stopping by anymore as you continue to do?
Oh no, I am. That's just gonna happen now. Hello.
Hello?
Now I'm stopping by.
I regret to inform you I'm not allowed to speak anymore with you.
Then why are you speaking?
Okay, you raise a good point, but my husband and
You're speaking. Na 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 na.
And the husband walks in. Dear, I thought you were not allowed to speak. We had an agreement.
But I don't fix these damn walls. What is with our country? All the houses touch each other. It's unconscionable. I see rolling hills around the outside. Can't we just move a house 2 feet to the side?
There are some really good houses in England. I don't know if you've ever seen Clockwork Orange. There's some really cool modern architecture out there.
Never heard of it.
No, it's very cool.
really
houses.
true.
It's almost like a juxtaposition of like crazy houses that are smashed together, and then you've also got these really cool houses that are built just for the person living in them. They're just amazing.
Arthur, considering himself a gentleman.
Cuts me off like a dick.
I just time it
No,
perfectly.
you have to. It is the perfect timing.
Arthur, considering himself a gentleman, responded with a note of his own. Charles' peace is requested not to interfere with my family.
Like his own little like homemade restraining order.
Yeah, he put it on his own stationery and dropped it off as like a little...
A citizen's restraining order.
Don't you feel like though if you knew a criminal and like that you'd be afraid that like doing something like that would agitate them rather than let them down soft, like to be like, I don't know how you do it actually, to be honest with you.
At that point, what do you do?
Yeah.
I guess
Charles
you just move. You sell your
responded
house.
to the letter by slyly sliding up next to Arthur in public and tripping him in front of the townspeople.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
I could just imagine him putting his foot out. You know? Whoopsie.
Uh-oh. I imagine him tabletopping. Did you ever do that when you were like in junior high?
Is that
or
when
high
you're
school?
behind someone, you bend over, and then the other person comes and pushes you?
them?
Yeah.
Charles just does it, and he's always just goes, whoopsie. I got mud on me bloody shoes. Charles?
That night, Kate complained about Charles' actions to some neighbors, who quickly walked away when they saw him limping up to confront her.
What do you mean? Like they didn't back her up? They're like, yep.
They're like, okay, this is getting weird.
Yeah,
Here comes old trippy Charles.
I forgot I need to Skype my mother. I'll be right back.
As he reached her, he pulled out his revolver, held it to her forehead, and screamed, I will blow your bloody brains out and your husband's too.
That's a great way to convince someone that you should hang out more.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't you regret not hanging out with me now? With a gun to their head?
Then he put the gun in his pocket and returned home.
Okay, so he has got...
Lame.
He's got a screw... Okay, what, did you want him to kill this lady?
I mean, yeah, it's like, it's history.
Yeah.
Everyone's always so okay with people dying, and it still sucks. I just don't want anyone
The
to...
further away it happened, the funnier it is.
I'm assuming we wouldn't be talking about it if the story ends there. So yeah, I want him to kill her.
Okay.
Or I
Okay.
want her to kill. I want someone to die.
Okay. Who the hell did we bring
Well-
on this fucking podcast? We triggered him into, what do you call it? Like when you're like the catalyst for someone becoming a murderer?
Call me Father Christmas because I'm about to satisfy your wishes.
Oh, someone's going to have to
All
die?
right.
Jesus.
People will definitely... I'll tell you right now. Someone's
right,
going to die in this
All right,
episode.
go on, you're fucking starry,
Within minutes, the police were knocking on Charlie's door. When they got no
Open up!
response... When they got no response, they forced their way in to find it was empty.
He already left?
Yep.
Smart.
I nod on a fucking podcast. Yeah.
He did not. Let the users, the listeners, the users.
Using us
Like
for
it's a drug.
entertainment.
No, I think of more of it like a drug. Like allow the users to make note. Rich is
Take a
nodding
hard
his head.
shot of crime in your veins, bruh.
That's intense.
Slam it.
DP that stuff, right?
Yeah.
You got to get through the airport. You fucking stick crime up your butt.
The Dyson family appeared to be free of their tormentor, but decided to play
Tormentor?
it safe and moving to the other side of town.
You're tormenting me.
I'll torment you right now,
You just
dog.
invented that fucking word, torment.
Yeah.
I'm being constantly tormented. It's relentless.
They move across town while Hannah was discovered running a cheap eatery in a rough neighborhood. She convinced the cops she was no longer associated with her good-for-nothing husband. In reality, he was hiding in a room upstairs, plotting revenge and using the new digs as his new thief's hideout.
And they didn't even think to check?
I mean, if you're a beat cop and you're like checking in on something, you're like, oh god, I would never hang out with him anymore. He's a trashy dude. Fuck, if you see him, tell him, keep him away from
Yeah.
me. And they're like, thanks for cooperating, man. All right, they're not gonna be like, actually, it just depends on. It's probably like case by case, right?
Yeah.
It's probably like a cop that would be like, I don't trust.
I just like them getting there and asking
Do you
her,
mind if
like-
we search the premises?
Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, they say, like, there's nothing to search for here. My husband is gone.
Well then, you won't mind if we just have a little look around.
Hey, honey, bring me some soup.
Ma'am, what was that noise?
Oh, no, my husband just collects wild birds, and that was a parrot.
Oh, okay.
It causing me honey.
Do you mind if I go?
This is your husband, definitely not a parrot. Will you bring me some fucking soup?
So your parrot has he copies the words of your husband?
He's quite smart. He's an intelligent bird.
He sounds intelligent. Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure, go ahead. Just don't look upstairs at all.
You've got it, ma'am. Mm-hmm. So they didn't look upstairs?
Not in the least.
Interesting. Very interesting UK police force, yes.
As Charles was doing his thing, 3 Irish brothers, Frank, John, and William Habron.
Got super drunk off Guinness. Fucking high five, bro. Right?
You're not that far
They
off.
were at Mick Patty's having Irish nachos, which
They
are
were-
nachos made with potatoes instead
That's a
of
good
fucking
Irish
chicken.
accent.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Super Irish, bro.
I don't really know how to do Irish very well. I can't
Irish.
tell the difference between Irish and Scottish.
Very different.
Fucking sue me.
There
That's
is no
super,
difference,
That's
I don't
super
think.
Scottish.
See? Yeah, Rich always puts me in my place for that. And
What do
all
you
of
think
our-
an Irish accent supposed to sound like?
Oh, that is very Irish right
it's
there.
actually
Yes.
not. That's the best I've ever done.
That's very good, man. Now, let me go and get you a little trophy for your little accent, you fucking
While
bitch.
the boys were known to be reliable workers during the day, they were also known to be rowdy drunks at night.
The Irish guys?
Yeah, no way.
Crazy.
Right?
Interesting characters.
Yeah. What a
Singing,
twist.
breaking glasses, and getting in fights.
Fuck yeah. These guys are badass. They have 4-leaf clover tattoos on their fucking biceps.
On
Go
July 31st, 1876, William engaged in a particularly hearty brawl, which attracted the attention of Constable Nicholas Cock.
That is a fucking...
His last name's Cock.
I wouldn't even say Nicholas, too. I'd be like, what's up, Constable Cock?
Nick Dick.
Yeah, Nick the Dick. You mean Constable Cock? Hell yeah. Another brewski.
When the officer
These are the
told
bros
Will,
of England. 1876. Is that was that Independence Day here? Wait.
no,
That was
not yet.
about 100 years after.
Well, it wouldn't be July 31st.
Oh, 17, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
100 years after.
Just
and
wanted to add a little
July 4th is a
non-history to the
different day.
podcast. I wanted to test everyone's history. Fucking
Lots of
skills.
different details.
I throw myself under the bus so that you guys can get educated.
When the officer told Will to cut it out, the angry drunk replied with a threat.
Did he do the cut it out thing that Uncle Joe used to do? From
Yeah, he did that. He said,
from
cut
fucking-
it out. The angry drunk replied with a threat. It'll be a sorry day for you the day you arrest me.
Nice.
No, wait, that's what Charlie said?
That's what Will said. Charlie's not in this part. Right now we're talking about the three, the Irish brothers, Will, Frank, and John. And Will, in particular, is the brawler and drinker.
It'll be a sorry day in hell when you arrest me.
It'll be a
there.
sorry day in hell when
It'll
you
be a
arrest me.
sorry day in hell when you arrest me.
A week later,
A week later,
Nick Cock
Nitcock
arrested William for more fighting.
arrested William for more fighting. Laddie. Aye.
But it turned out that this time, William was simply defending himself. He was let go the next day,
I was simply defending myself.
but could not let the insult go unnoticed.
But I can't
You
shake
can't.
He
It's code
walked
of the
up,
streets.
He walked up to Officer Cock
Officer Cock! Officer Cock! Why
And in
don't you
front of-
suck my...
and in front of dozens of witnesses said,
Tripped him? Oh,
I
go on.
promised you a sorry day if you ever ran afoul of me. I'll do you in for this.
Wait, the criminal saying that to the cop?
Yeah, walks up to the cop. Well, the drunk
That's
brawler.
a fucking threat. Yeah, I guess if you're drunk, you can probably say
So did he do
I promised
anything
you a
next?
sorry day if you ever ran afoul of
Or
me.
just say that and then walk off?
He just said that and walked off.
Can you
I
imagine?
don't believe you.
Well, that's what happened here.
God damn it.
But things
Was
are
he a
happening.
penis with one of those tall bobby hats on?
Yeah, he was just. It was so weird.
Officer Cock?
Yeah. You're like, it's so weird that he has arms. It's
He
even,
patrols the streets of of like the cobblestone roads, and it's just a wiener with a
Shoot
fucking
him.
hat. Sorry, Mom, by the way. How do we have to go wiener?
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Mom, about,
About all the cock.
About all the cock. Officer Cock. All that cock. I'm sorry,
about
Mom.
it.
I'm sorry, Mom.
About
but
the cock.
I didn't mention cum, so I'm
Not
not that
yet.
sorry, Mom.
But now he just did.
It's true.
He really means it.
Okay, go on with your stuff.
At 10 to midnight the same evening, Constable Cock walked his rounds
You love saying it.
with
Your
his
mouth's
partner,
watering.
James Beanland.
Beanland?
Yep. Probably Beanland, I'm guessing, or
Beanland and Cock.
It's spelled Beanland, yeah.
That's
Cock and Bean
Cock
sounds
and
like.
beans.
yeah. That sounds great, actually. A good fucking English
Yeah.
breakfast right now with some fucking beans, little tomatoes.
When they
some
saw a
mushrooms.
man breaking into a local home, Cock and Bean split up
Starve it.
and snuck forward to catch the man unaware. It was Cock who found the man, who turned around and fired a warning shot from his revolver. Undeterred, the officer pressed forward. A second shot rang out. This time, Cock took a load in the chest.
Okay, that I just want to make note. The story sounds great. The way you're telling
Yeah.
it sounds amazingly fucking well done.
Look, I can't write history. I can just frame
Oh
history.
no, that's beautiful. You got a
Yeah.
way with words. You got
Yeah.
a purty mouth. I like the way you use it.
He died at the hospital. When the chief asked Beanland to describe the killer, he only gave a vague description, but then he said, quote, I suspect it is Will Habron. Will was arrested for the murder along with his brothers. They were acquitted, but he was quickly found guilty and sentenced to death. The defense barely put up a fight.
Okay, so just give me a summary of what just happened on this module of the story.
They're like, oh, definitely this guy says it probably Will Habron. He did just threaten the guy's life earlier today. So they all take a posse, go over to where the brothers are hanging out, arrest all the brothers, then pile up a bunch of like circumstantial evidence like he threatened to kill him.
And that's it.
Well, there
mean,
were
that is pretty
there were
good, though.
two other
Someone's
pieces.
killed
There were
after
two
you
other
just-
pieces of evidence. One of them was that an investigator one of the cops went to the scene and took Will's boot and compared it to a boot print at the scene, and they were like close enough. I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, close enough is always good for forensic evidence.
Was the guy who
And-
compared the boot Charlie's dad?
No.
He's like, oh, I've got a boot right here. It's just my left one because my right foot's gone.
My foot's all muddy now.
So yeah, that's right. But I know boots when I see them.
And there were also some gunpowder caps in Will's jacket, which apparently wasn't even his jacket. It was one he'd borrowed from his boss, and his boss had put the gunpowder caps in there.
Ah.
Anyway, so that's what's up. They've been arrested.
That's what's
the
up,
brother.
dog.
The brothers get acquitted, but then Will is found guilty like immediately and sentenced to death. The defense barely put up a fight. In fact, the biggest squabble of the day came that morning when a rough-looking man with a bad limp forced his way to a seat in the front row.
Yeah, here he comes. Old Charlie Peace.
Charles actually apparently went and watched every single day of the trial just to make sure.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That was TV. That was the original BBC.
Yeah.
Let's watch him get quartered.
Charles
Rip
left
him
the
apart.
court.
It's a great episode. I'm very bored.
Charles left the court with the confidence of a man who had just avoided the hangman's noose. He returned to Sheffield on November 29th by train and limped his way across town towards a pub that just so happened to be a few doors down from the home of Arthur and Kate Dyson.
Uh-oh.
Wait, did he have some drinks in him?
He's about to.
He's about to go
get-
he's going to a pub.
Before hitting the pub, he asked a woman to drop off a note for Kate at her home. But he was creepy as fuck, so she refused.
Is that what it
Nice.
said? Is that the
Yeah.
quote from the fucking archives?
He was creepy AF, you know?
He was bloody creepy as fuck. He was he was creepy AF.
He spent the rest of the day at the pub getting plastered and putting on an impromptu musical performance using a stick, a piece of wire, and an iron poker as a makeshift fiddle.
What an interesting fellow. What
Apparently,
a great show.
I feel
this
like he just brought his break-in tools in the fiddle case on accident and was like, I'll
Fuck
just
it.
MacGyver
Yeah.
it. We'll perform.
He's musical MacGyver.
Yeah, exactly.
But apparently it was a good show. That's in the
Nice.
books that I read about it. They're like, people really enjoyed his one string
Breakthrough performance.
fiddle stick.
He was about to get a career in playing fiddle.
Later that night, the liquored up hobbit stumbled out into the street where he trapped a stranger, a Mr. Brassington, in a conversation about how much he hated the Dysons. He pulled out documents, proof, he said, of their marital and financial problems. Brassington was very annoyed, especially since he'd already told the man that he could not read.
Wait, you said he pulled out fucking documents?
So-
who the fuck gets in a discussion with a stranger and pulls documents out? I don't even show
It was
him a
like,
fucking
apparently
article
there were
on
a
my
lot of
fucking
letters
phone.
that had been passed back and forth between Kate and Charlie.
Yeah.
And he was using them as like, see, she likes me. She doesn't like him. Also, somehow I got their financial statements, which also prove that they're not in good financial. Like,
I mean,
Yeah, no matter what was in those letters, I'd be like, you're the crazy one, obviously.
of course.
Get away from
yeah,
me.
you carry
please.
documents with you?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts. I've had people at bars fucking talk to me about stuff that I don't fucking need to know. But man, to actually have
Yeah, they don't
paperwork,
whip out
to show
documents.
paperwork. Look at the affidavit. Look, actually, I feel like I have had someone show
but
me.
also
like,
when you're like,
the notary is...
dude, I can't read. Why are you showing me these documents?
But when you have a drunk person at a bar showing you stuff you could say I can't read over and over to them, and they still stand about a half a foot from your face, breathing into
Yeah.
your face, screaming what they're screaming. I
Aren't you-
actually just recently had someone tell me stuff.
Oh, yeah?
for like 12 to 13 minutes of hell.
Yeah,
she was a
that's bad.
You'll never get that time back.
a nice old lady, but like, man, she wouldn't stop. And I was like, this is way too personal, dude. I don't know
Yeah.
how to. I can't.
Finally, Charlie got the hint and moved on to a church where he ranted at the Reverend, who was a captive audience. The Reverend listened, then made Charles promise not to go to the Dyson's house that evening.
I feel like he's going to go.
I feel like Adam's right. He's gonna go because that's what happens.
He went home. The end. Oh, man, that was so nice, guys.
This is no Adam. Rich is trying to get you to fall for one of his little
No,
things.
I trust him.
Yeah.
I
His
trust him.
ruse.
Ha ha! Kate and Arthur
I didn't-
were enjoying a pleasant evening at home. Gotcha, Shefsky.
I didn't fucking
when
fall
they
for
felt
that,
the
you
call.
fucking dick.
Gotcha, Shefsky.
You're such
No.
an idiot, man.
Dude,
You don't
seriously.
get a fucking
Fuck.
point for that. I knew
Yeah.
it was coming.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
watched
dude.
your fucking body language.
You got.
I can
Yeah.
smell
You
your
got.
pheromones.
Yeah.
You got.
I could smell your truthful pheromones.
Kate and Arthur were enjoying a pleasant evening at home when she felt the call of nature.
What do you think a pleasant evening at home was in those days? Hey, we're not on fire or being stabbed.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
Yes, it's very nice.
Can you not stab me some more, please?
You think they were just making love?
No.
You said a pleasant evening at home.
They were apparently in their parlor.
I need some sex in this story, or I'm gonna get up and walk.
Okay.
Yep.
Then nobody's fucking, so get the fuck out of here.
All right, you call my bluff. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
that's
not
what I
leaving.
thought.
This chair is comfy AF.
Like most homes of the era, they lacked indoor plumbing, so Kate made her way to the outhouse. After doing her business, Kate opened the door and found herself staring down the barrel of a gun held by Charles Peace.
Oh Jesus!
She froze. "Speak or I'll fire!" he yelled.
Okay, what would you like me to say? So I just took a nasty one. Don't go in there.
Ooh, I did not actually plan beyond just the speak or I'll shoot thing.
Okay, then please put your gun
Can you
down.
just give me a second? I'll come up with something. Okay. What do I want you to? How about rubber baby bubby bunkers? I didn't even get it right. Damn it.
Yes, but no, that sounded lovely. If you could just take the musket barrel out of my eye. Then...
No. I'll get this. I'll come up with something good.
No, that was wonderful. That was good enough.
Ooh.
I have to hurry back inside.
No, you how about this? Let's take it from one. Just go back inside the outhouse, and then
Okay.
come back out. I'll point the gun at your head.
Okay.
You'll scream.
Should I flush again to make it more authentic? Where do we start?
You guys have flushing in your outhouse?
Bloody hell.
You're more wealthy than I thought.
Bloody hell, Rich.
She yelled, screamed, jumped back inside the outhouse, and locked the door.
Just me and a whole fucking pile of shit. You're not coming in here. That's what
Don't go back in that outhouse.
Oh, yeah. I told you it's nasty in here. I just had a nasty one. I ate a lot of clam chowder for lunch.
When Arthur came running, Charles lost his nerve and fled. Arthur gave chase and quickly caught up to the limping thief.
Dude, Charles is a fucking dick, bitch, asshole.
Charles reached the end of the alley, and knowing he could not outrun anyone, he turned and waited for Arthur to appear.
Oh, fuck.
The moment the man emerged from the darkness, Charles put a bullet in the middle of his forehead.
There it is.
I killed him?
There it is.
Well, he shot one warning shot, and then Arthur kept on coming forward, and he was like, fuck you, pop.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you... Okay, Arthur. Actually, he's not listening. Why was I was about to address him.
No, tell him.
Well, Arthur, fucking...
They're all listening now. We're in the basement of the Comedy Store. This place is haunted.
Yeah, boy.
You think the ghosts come to a location?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
I'll be there in just a minute.
That's how it works. They hear us talking about them. They're in the room.
They all talk. They're like, I heard there's a podcast. They'll be
Yep.
discussing our deaths. Who fucking hears a warning shot and goes like, I'm the Terminator, and just keeps walking towards it? Like,
Apparently, everyone in this story. Literally everyone in the story, because like Nick Cock, he got a warning shot and then kept on coming at the guy and then got shot.
yeah.
This dude got a warning shot.
Well,
kept
what
on
do you
coming,
think
got shot.
about a warning? What did a warning shot in the old days mean? That
It means he can't aim. That's what it means to me. No, it doesn't. Charles put a bullet in the middle of his forehead. Arthur died, and Charles fled into the night.
No, read that with more conviction. Go back.
Charles put a bullet in the middle of his forehead. Arthur
I didn't say
died.
get turned into a
Charles
fucking,
fled into the night.
a flamboyant valley, bro. Oh my god.
Oh my God!
It's okay. So
Arthur died.
So Arthur
and
fucking
Charles
died
fled
after.
into the
How
night.
many years has it been since Charles and Arthur had that?
A million years.
No, okay. This isn't currency. Seriously,
I don't know how many years.
Oh, has it been like
I
a
don't
5-year
remember.
period since when he was hanging out with his wife and annoying him? Like, for how the story feels, it feels like Charles and his wife are like, "Whew, I'm glad to be rid of him. It's been nice," and then you forget about him because it's been like 5 years.
Well,
And they're like,
apparently Charles, when they first moved into their house, they got there with like their carts of stuff. And Charles was waiting there at the house and was like, "I'm here to." He said the quote was
Oh
like,
my
"I'm here to
God.
annoy you, and I'll keep annoying you all the time."
this is like the scariest
Wow.
"What About Bob" story ever. Like, people end up murdered in this one instead of just like, he's really annoying. They're like, he ended up putting bullets in my head.
The investigation and manhunt began immediately. A description of Charles was distributed across the country.
He's a limping asshole.
Quote-
He shows up places when you're fucking annoyed with him.
Here, the description is great. Here it is.
Okay.
He is thin and slightly built, from 55 to 60 years of age, 5 feet 4 or 5 inches high, gray, nearly white hair, beard, and whiskers. He lacks the use of 3 fingers of left hand, walks with his legs rather wide apart, speaks somewhat peculiarly, as though his tongue were too large for his mouth, and is a great boaster. He is a picture frame maker.
Never gonna find that guy.
He just sounds like an American Horror Story / Mighty Boosh character. Everyone's going to notice
He's
this
also, like, remember,
motherfucker.
he's like 40 right now, and they're going like 55 to 60 years of age.
Oh, well,
like-
yeah. Well, you said he was aged.
I like the part where they say he talks as though his tongue were too large for his mouth.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I like picture frame maker.
Picture frame maker.
Yeah. Like he switched professions all these different times, and now that he needs to run from the law, he's not gonna maybe
Yeah.
get a new job.
Maybe maybe that's like his backup, where he's like,
Yeah, it could be.
I've always got framing.
Yeah, that's how he gets caught. People are like, "Yo, he was carrying 78 frames."
with cute little pictures in them.
The description was mostly useless because aside from being a thief, Charles was also a master of disguise.
Of course.
First, he donned his most expensive clothes. Not only could he alter his gait and his voice, he was also capable of purposely dislocating his jaw to to change the shape of his face.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like a fucking snake?
He had a broken jaw, so he would dislocate it and jut his chin out, so he'd have an underbite, and his face would look all goofy.
That's so great.
Right?
I'm not Charles. I'm not Charles.
This guy gets to kill anyone. I don't care how this ends.
You just like
this
him
guy
that-
could have. I don't care if he kills my grandmother at the end of the
He
story.
used walnut
Jesus,
oil.
That's a big sacrifice, but all right. We can make that happen, right? Charles, get in here. We got a grandma for you to kill.
He used walnut oil to dye his skin and hair.
Oldest trick in the book.
Oh yeah.
The final touch was pure genius. Using a type of tree sap, he fashioned a tube to go around his damaged hand and affixed a hook at the end. Now, instead of being a man with the telltale missing fingers, he was missing an entire hand. Charles Peace had transformed into an elderly, mixed-race, hook-handed gentleman.
Which I think would still kind of stand out in 1800s.
But it's a different...
Feels like it. Yeah.
Well, it's a different person, though.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you would stand out as an entirely different human being.
Yeah, okay. There
Yeah.
was a peculiar lad that walked by, but he's not the
So now
Charles
he can
you're looking
go.
for.
He can go commit crimes and then jump in a old timey phone booth and get all black faced up. Get back out into the community.
Oh, they thought he was black?
Yeah. Or
Walnut
mixed.
oil.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
the walnut oil.
You guys act like walnut oil's super common.
What do you
John,
mean?
walnut
Well,
oil.
I assume he wasn't doing it to make himself more shiny.
What do you use when you put on blackface?
I thought walnut oil would make you look more like Latino than black.
Okay, we're splitting hairs
Yeah.
now. Jeez.
Yeah, come on, jeez.
Sorry, guys. That's what I
Brown
did.
face.
That's what I-
Whatever.
That's what I did before I was a podcaster. I was a hair splitter.
He was he was so confident in his disguise that he purposely sat across from a police officer on a train across the country
Oh, that's fun. See, he gets hard off all the weird
and
shit he
made
does.
conversation.
Yeah, see, he likes it. He likes touching the danger.
When the officer told him he was
his
escorting
one
a
finger.
prisoner, the young woman next to him being charged with theft, Charles proceeded to give her a long lecture on the immorality of lawbreaking.
That is
Yes.
fucking hilarious. Okay, it does redeem him a little bit.
Yeah,
He's a murderer.
this guy's the best.
That's really funny.
He eventually settled in a slum where he could remain anonymous. It was here that Charles met a woman named Susan Gray and immediately fell in love. That night, he got drunk and walked into the middle of the street, yelling that he would shoot her if he couldn't have her.
Wow, that really is true love, Charles. You fucking thick-skulled idiot.
Somehow, the world's worst pickup line worked, and
Oh.
she became his mistress.
Oh my god. Well, who the fuck am I? That's that worked.
Yeah, it totally worked, which is so
Yeah.
weird.
Oh wow. She
Oh,
was
well,
like, wow, he
maybe-
must
Maybe
really
try
like
it
me.
sometime.
must care.
I know.
I'll try that with my wife. I will shoot you if I can't have you. You already have me. Well, then I'll just shoot you. Is that right?
Or have you.
Or just have
Yeah.
you.
Eventually, they moved in together, brazenly renting a room from a police officer.
Yes.
So he would go out at night and rob shit, and then come back and have dinner with the officer, and then go back out again and rob more shit.
That's great.
Yeah.
Does either of you watch The Americans?
No.
It's kind of how The Americans
I'm on
work.
episode 2 of the first season.
Yeah.
I just started.
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
That's how it works, though. They
Well, there's like one plot line where they end up living across the street from an FBI
I'm
guy.
afraid of Americans.
Is it a good show?
It's the pilot
It's-
episode where they establish that. by the
It
way.
is, yeah, it's probably my favorite show on television.
I'm on episode 2. And it has that chick from Felicity whose name I can't remember, but she's talented.
Yeah. Why am I forgetting her name too?
Carrie something or other?
Carrie Russell.
There you go.
Yeah.
Who, honestly,
Russell.
I think Felicity was her best role, but this is fine.
The Americans is really great though.
okay.
I'm really
I never
glad.
watched Felicity. I watched half an
Yeah, I
episode
haven't
in
seen it either.
1998.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm watching an episode of something other than crime right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I'm just joking. Felicity, hashtag, watch it.
Eventually, Charles and Susan were forced to move on as the recent uptick in burglaries had the cops scouring town for the fugitive.
So they're like, it's time to hit a new
They're like,
town.
let's go.
Yeah.
This place is hot.
There was another place that they rented for a while where the cops came to get him, and he pretended to be someone else. And they're like, she and him were upstairs fucking, and he was like, "Could you guys go back
Oh, there
down
is
and
sex
like?"
in this story? Thank you.
Yeah.
How were they fucking? Was it good? Was it sweaty summertime sex?
Yes,
or
it was.
Warm. Got to keep it warm in the
Well, that
in the
walnut
winter.
oil is
It's
also
like
a lubricant.
drizzly
Oh my
England
God.
sex.
He said walnut oil.
Walnut oil.
Drizzly England sex.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's some foggy cock.
I'll drizzle you right now,
Oh.
girl.
That actually kind of works. I'll drizzle you.
So apparently, they come up and
Like
catch him
we're at a
fucking,
Cinnabon factory.
and then the
And I'm on top, obviously.
Charles in disguise is like, "Hey, can you guys go back downstairs? Let me get dressed before like something. I'll come with you guys." And they're like, "Okay." They go back downstairs, and he just jumped out the back window and ran.
Nice.
So yeah, he was good at that. Eventually,
he was good at running.
Yeah,
He had the weird wobble.
he was good at running away.
Oh, you
Yeah.
mean like sneaky deaky?
Sneaking.
Not like in like
Well,
the
what's weird is
100-meter dash.
He has
would
this
be shitty.
weird wobble, but like he can still speed. He's still like fairly agile. Like remember, he scales buildings to be a cat burglar. And shit.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just enjoy like making you explain it.
Eventually, Charles and
Break a
Susan
sweat.
were forced to move on as the race blah blah blah. They eventually made their way to London, settling in another slum where they could remain somewhat anonymous. They opened up a store selling musical instruments, which would appear to be a legitimate business if it weren't for the fact that nearly all the inventory was stolen. Business was good, and the
called a
couple
pawn
lived
shop.
well.
Yeah.
So well, in fact, that Charles decided he was tired of living without his family. So he sent a letter to Hull inviting his family, including his wife, to join him and his mistress.
Sure.
Mrs. Peace accepted.
What?
So they bought a bigger house in a nicer neighborhood.
Mrs. Peace.
Charles lived with his mistress on the top floor.
Coming to live with Mrs. Side
His
Piece.
wife and stepson lived in the basement.
What?
Oh, Mrs. Peace and Mrs. Side Piece? That deserved more than it got.
Yeah, it's fine though.
Yeah,
It's
that's fucking
fine.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It'd be only if her name was bitch, Mrs. Side bitch. All right, or chick. That would be nice. Bitch is
So
a
yeah,
little harsh.
Charles lives with Mrs. Side
Side
Piece on the
chick.
top floor, and Mrs. Peace and the stepson live in the basement.
That's great. Wait,
He was, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's where you keep. That's where you keep your. You don't keep your wife in the basement.
Yeah.
No,
That's weird.
My wife keeps me
Mine's
in the
down
basement.
in this basement.
Yeah.
I live in a matriarchal marriage. I'm in the one in the basement.
Oh,
My
sure.
wife's the boss.
He was now living a strange middle class life, entertaining guests and making friends. He even developed a relationship with an inventor, filing patents together for a number of devices, including one that became successful, a contraption that raised sunken ships by pumping them full of gas to displace the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's part of the invention that
Yeah.
the guy this Charles in
Yeah.
the story is part of the guy. I mean I've watched that type of stuff on Discovery
Yep.
and BBC where they
Yep.
they bring up a
Yes.
boat and
Yep.
interesting.
Wild.
Even the Navy
Yeah, this
SEALs
guy's
use that
amazing.
technology. That's fucking very interesting. This guy's great. All he did was shoot a couple people, right? He's a decent
It's not a
guy.
big deal.
He's got a good sense
Things
of humor.
were finally going great. But money was still tight, and
Butt
Charles...
money?
Butt money, bro.
Oh, you got any more of that butt money?
Oh, it stinks.
But it's so warm.
It was still tight, and Charles was still a thief. On October 10th, 1878, he set out to burgle one of his biggest targets,
Ding 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 ding.
a home in the
Burgle alert.
affluent area of Blackheath. He snuck in the home around 2 a.m., which was unlucky for him, as 3 officers in the middle of their rounds saw him enter. They rang the doorbell to flush him out and caught him trying to escape.
Oh, that's clever. So the cops were like, just bring the doorbell. It'll scare him. We don't have to.
Yeah,
we don't have
that's
to go
smart.
in.
He fired 5 shots at the officers,
Oh shit!
hitting
Fucking
one in the
shootout.
arm, but they wrestled him to the ground, took his gun, and used it not to knock him out cold.
Well, that was decent of them.
Yeah, they
could
could've
have just shot him
back,
and
right?
planted a bag of heroin
This
on
is
him.
the old
like
days.
we do now.
That's right. This is the old days when cops were nice, right, guys?
He must not have had the walnut oil on that night.
Yeah, ooh.
He would have slipped right through their fingers.
The prosecution of Charles Peace went on for months.
Walnut lives matter. Hashtag.
At first, he refused to give his identity. He refused to give his identity,
Oh yeah, you have to.
which kind of worked. The police booking described the 40-year-old white man as a half-caste about 60 years of age.
What's a caste mean? Half caste.
I'm not sure, but
I think it-
I think
I think it
like the social
means-
system has caste.
I think it means mixed.
Mulatto.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Racist.
At first, the
Racist alert.
secret murderer was tried under his false image
That's a cool
for the
name.
attempted murder of a police officer.
Secret
a lesser
murderer.
crime than actual murder. The trial commenced. The defense tried to argue the shooting had been accidental, which the judge laughed off, quipping that the gun must have accidentally fired 5 times. The old man was sentenced to life in prison.
Oh.
But the trial was really just for show, as detectives had already figured out that the man in their custody was Charles Peace. He was so this is really interesting. Like, they did a whole big investigation.
Yeah.
Like, they tracked down his business partner, the guy he wrote a letter to the guy he made the invention with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tracked that guy down and then used him to track down his wife, searched the place, found a bunch of documents that were like, oh, this is Charles Peace. They tracked down, at some point, his mistress, who was kind of pissed off, tried to turn him in for the reward money, but they were like, nah, we already know who it's him, so fuck off. They didn't give her the money.
dude.
Nice.
Well, how bummer to
Yeah.
go through all that and then
Right.
hate yourself for turning someone in, and they're like, oh no, we're not going to give you any cash. We already knew it.
So they try him under this fake identity, and they're like, yeah, just to get you on this one, but we're also going to get you on the real shit.
So what? So they took him to trial for that, and they're going to take him to trial for. That's a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Man.
He was taken by train to Sheffield to stand trial for the murder.
Back to Sheffield with you.
Now, now that since we're still a little ahead on schedule, I did want to say that there's a whole thing I edited out just for time that I'll put it back in.
Okay.
That at one point in one of the times when he was imprisoned for 8 years, with 11 months left, he tried to escape by
Jesus,
Yeah.
dude.
right? With 11
Dude.
months left.
11. Hang in there till the fucking 9th inning's over, man.
He made a makeshift saw out of like tin shavings from the workshop.
I didn't know you could even do that.
Smuggled a small ladder into his cell, then used his clothes to muffle the sound of him sawing through the ceiling of his cell, and he was escaping through a crawl space
Up in the top, huh?
to go like get over the wall.
Yeah.
And as he gets to the crawl space, right when he's getting through, a guard comes around the corner on his watch and like sees a foot disappearing.
Oh, jeez.
So the guard tried to chase him but got stuck in the hole because it was too small for him.
Yeah.
Oh,
And so Charles Peace nearly escaped. Like he got out of the prison and got into like the prison governor's house.
yeah.
yeah.
And then hid in the guy's closet trying to make an escape. But then the cops showed up and took him back in. But they didn't give him any extra time. They just were like, you didn't get out, so fuck it.
Oh, really? They're like,
Wow.
it's easier, less paperwork.
So he's kind
Yeah.
of an escape guy, which is important because he's about to make one last attempt to escape.
Nice.
Not wanting to let the murderer out of their sights, his jailers were forcing him to relieve himself in a wax-lined paper bag in the middle of the train car.
Oh.
When they opened the window so he could throw out his waste, he took his chances and nimbly
Were
jumped.
there other people in this train car? Were they like,
I don't know, but
is
that's
someone going to do
hilarious.
something about that? Like, excuse, it's like a loud, nasty fucking dump, dude. Like, this is the old days, dude. People have had nasty dumps. Because you couldn't have like a balanced diet. It's like the old days, right? You're just like whatever's around, you eat, right?
Yeah.
Sausage and sausage.
Yeah, sausage, minced meat pies, and just like, oh, God. Worst train trip ever. Hashtag again, right?
Charles took his chances and nimbly jumped through the window.
What did he wipe with? That's my other question. Are we
But-
just going to skip over that? Like it's not that big of a deal? This guy's shitting on the train. Trying to go on vacation with my fam. Okay, sorry. Go on.
But one of the guards was also quick, catching Charles by the foot as he jumped through. Charles now hung from the
Dangling?
outside of the train as it barreled down the tracks.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I know. Fucking pre-Buster Keaton. Am I right, folks?
They tried to pull the, stop the train thing, but it was broken.
People thought when they were doing that pull thing that they saw a big rig next to them. They were trying to get him to honk.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Big rig's like, no, pull the train over. You got it, bud. I love kids. I just want to show you trucks are cool.
Charles kicked free and fell.
And survived.
The cops finally stopped the train 2 miles down the track.
Oh, he's already fucking gone 2 miles.
Assuming they had lost him once again, they were surprised to find that Charles had not moved, having knocked himself unconscious.
What luck, Charles. What luck.
The trial was, of course, sensational. People were actually pissed off because the trial was postponed a day. They were like, because of his concussion.
Yeah, it's the new Game of Thrones.
And they were like, oh, come on. A whole day?
Yeah, I'm supposed. Yeah, everyone's all planning, just like
Yeah.
GOT. People are just like, "Oh, it's Sunday, the new episode of Court."
The prosecution brought in a pile of witnesses, including the woman who refused to deliver the note and the man who couldn't read. They both testified that Charles claimed to have, quote, been intimate with Kate and threatened to shoot her and her husband. So I just imagine this like drunk hobbit wandering around the streets tonight being like, hey, I fucked that chick. I'm also going to shoot her and her husband. People are like, wow, this is nice to meet you. My name's Mark.
Yeah, I mean,
Let me show you some documents.
yeah, I actually have paperwork that shows that I fucked this chick and will shoot her.
The defense tried to flip the script, claiming that Kate was in fact his mistress and that Arthur had been the aggressor, forcing Charles to defend himself.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
The jury deliberated for only 10 minutes, returning with a verdict of
Guilty.
Wow.
He was sentenced to hang.
Ooh, fuck.
That
He's gonna
sounds chill.
die.
Sentence to hang.
Yeah.
hang out,
don't
bro.
do the fucking surf sign.
Yeah,
when
let's
sentence to
hang.
hang, man. Pack a bowl, bro. No, I think it was like sentence to hang till you're fucking dead by your
Oh,
neck. Like
shit.
old day hanging.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It's not like you've been sentenced to
fun.
chillax for
I thought, I thought it was
4
like
years.
house arrest or something.
Every day at 4:20, you will have to smoke 3 dabs
In his last
until
days,
you are dead. Dead.
dude, 3 dabs, you'll feel like you're dead.
Yeah.
You're like, am I dead right now?
Yeah.
I think I'm dead.
Yeah.
I never met my dab.
In his last
help
days,
it.
Charles Peace finally appeared repentant, writing a letter admitting to the murder of Officer Cock.
Officer Cock, Officer Cock. I'm
William
sorry that I
Havron was
shot
later
you.
given a full pardon and £800 for his troubles,
Which in today's day,
around $115,000.
thank you for looking that up. That's not
I
that
knew
much
it.
money.
Yeah.
$100,000? Great, thanks. I can get a fucking Audi. And then the rest of my life I still have to figure out. You fucked me. Thanks, guys. The system, right?
Someone's selling you a really expensive Audi.
No, they have like a $200,000 Audi.
Really?
Yeah, they have
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ. One
On the
my
morning
friend
of
has a really
February
fancy-
25th, 1879,
Obviously, you
Charles
can't
Peace
afford it.
ate his
Yeah.
last meal, a hearty breakfast of bacon, before being escorted to the gallows. Which, by the way,
Just bacon?
I don't know what they just said. All I listed was bacon.
I'd be like, can I get some bread? Maybe some fucking chicken and waffles?
He was probably one of those bacon for president type motherfuckers, sharing old timey
just want-
bacon
Like a
memes.
super
It's like
into-
fuck
oh, he's
that
obsessed
guy.
with bacon. Oh,
Yeah.
this is heaven.
I think
do love
he was like
bacon.
about to die, he was about to get hung, and he's like, dude, I don't want to be like full.
Yeah.
I just want to go lean protein
Oh my god,
for
that's
my
so weird.
for my morning.
No, live to eat, don't eat to live. Or no,
Yeah.
eat to
Fun
live.
note: as he was being escorted to the gallows, a priest was following him, reading like a bunch of shit about hell, out of the Bible. Just
Yeah.
reading all these passages about like, and then you will burn. He's like,
Are you
"Fuck
serious?
off,
Isn't
dude.
that should be illegal too. You can't say that to people.
He was escorted to the gallows, where he died by hanging at the age of 47.
But looked like he was 70, so he lived a long, good life.
A wax figure depiction of Charlie's execution appeared for many years at Madame Tussauds.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, the original one over in England.
Oh wow.
It's right next to Beyonce now.
I've actually seen a picture of the wax thing, and it's like, oh, that you guys really went for it. Yeah, like no one's doing like there's River Phoenix's overdose wax figure.
yeah.
So can I recap this story?
Sure.
This guy, he basically he finally got what he deserved for the
The murders,
for the two murders, right? It was the first.
2 murders and 1 attempted murder.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I mean,
He got what he deserved.
I guess he got it, yeah,
Which
I mean-
is a really neat life.
he had a good.
Seems
good
like
40 years.
that's what he got for his crimes.
He spent a bunch of it in prison.
yeah, but
2, 4, 6, 8.
yeah.
Who do we appreciate?
Crime.
Charlie?
Crime.
Crime?
Crime.
I can't.
Crime.
Today's sources include Charlie Peace, Murder, Mayhem, and the Master of Disguise by Ben Johnson, and of course the evil robots at Wikipedia. Yeah.
Well, that's a good English story for us again. So Ben's English.
Yeah.
We're gonna appreciate that.
Good job, Ben.
Hopefully my fucking cousin fucking listening to this shit.
Hey, shout out, by the way, for those of you who like the theme song, as someone mentioned on our Twitter recently, check out Ben Rosen. He's the guy who made our theme song. It was pretty rad.
I was talking about our friend Ben from England that's a fan of the show too.
Also
So-
Ben. Oh, yeah. Fucking also Ben,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking
who took some great pictures. We'll also put up on our social of some weird places from one of our stories.
Of what's his name? Corn. What the fuck is his
Cromwell.
name? Cromwell.
Cromwell's place, yeah.
Corn and Crom are very close in my head. I
Shout out Ben, bruh.
Shout out to Ben, bruh.
Adam Tod Brown.
Hey.
Where can humans find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Adam Tod Brown. That's Todd with 1 D. I'm also on Instagram at Adam Tod Brown. And listen to my podcast, Unpopular Opinion, at unpops.com. You can find it on iTunes. It's a whole network. We have a whole bunch of podcasts.
There's a bunch of shit going on.
Go listen to them all. They're good.
Thanks for being
Guys,
here.
you can find
thank you
our
for having
show at CrimePod on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us, crimepodcast@gmail.com for story ideas, questions you have, dick pics
Oh yeah,
for John
send us pictures
Shefsky.
of your assholes first, Slaton.
All for
his-
John Shefsky?
for his asshole book.
And if you like the show, which we know you do because you're listening, give us a nice little review on iTunes because it actually does super duper help.
It
Deal
does.
with those people look at that and go, oh, they're legit because people like them.
And whoever's like telling their friends about this show and all that shit, fucking
Fucking
thank
yeah,
you,
dude.
thank you. Every week is a new exciting week with all you guys fucking listening and supporting. It
means so much to
I can't
us.
explain it. Shut the fuck up, Slade.
so-
Stop mocking my sentimental fucking. My hat's off to you people.
Bye, robot.
This guy's a real Charles Peace over here.
Bye, Joel.
Mwah.
Mostly sorry.